Good afternoon. Welcome to EduSet Network. Friend, as you know, we have discussion on problem solving. Yesterday we discussed the various tools of problem solving. Today we'll continue with this and we'll try to understand in a different perspective, and we'll try to understand how problem solving can be followed, and the difficult problems should be solved very easily and effectively for the production or for the benefit of the organization or any organizations. And for discussion on this very topic, we have in the studio Dr. Subhash Kakkar, an eminent management personality, and he has worked in both worlds, corporate as well as academic, having experience of more than 30 years in corporate world, and for the sake of interest in teaching, he shifted to the academic, and presently he is a director of one of the premier management institute in Delhi. So on your behalf, I welcome Dr. Kakkar for EduSet lecture on this very topic. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Arvinder. Today we will continue with our yesterday's lecture on problem solving using A4/2 techniques. I think you must be remembering yesterday we ended the lecture with problem solving tools. We were discussing cocoon, cause and consequence diagram. This particular tool is used to find out all the possible causes, all the possible reasons of the problem which are creating the problem. When we are able to find out the cause of the problem, it becomes very easy to find its solution also. So today we will continue with the cocoon diagram. It's a diagram based technique and very easy to make and easy to follow and easy to analyze also. And cocoon analysis gives you a useful way of doing the analysis of the problem. As it being a diagram based technique, we will have to make a diagram and we will have to do the brainstorming first to know different causes of the problem. We will list all the causes of the problem, and that will be given by brainstorming. We will call different people which are related with the problem and we will ask them the question, what are the possible causes of the problem? Please tell us. We will list them and then we will start making the diagram. How this diagram is made, I will just demonstrate the procedure for making the diagram. First step is identify the problem. First write down the exact problem which the company is facing and you are supposed to solve. Where appropriate, identify who is involved with the problem, what the problem is, and when and where it occurs. So all this data, when it is known to us, then this is part of the first step and we will continue further. Follow these steps to solve a problem with cocoon analysis. Then write the problem in a box. This is a procedure for making the cocoon diagram. Write the problem in a box on the left hand side of a large sheet of paper. You take a A4 sheet of paper on the left hand corner, left hand side. In the middle, you make a block and write the statement of the problem on the paper sheet. You can draw this line at the bottom of the paper also. You can do the same thing on the bottom of the paper. In the middle, make a box and write the problem. Then you draw a vertical straight line showing the stem of a tree, and it gives you a space for writing other things. On both sides of the line which is vertical, you have lot of space for writing other things. And what all other things are to be written, I am going to tell you in my further slides. Example, we are going to take an example also. In this example, a manager is facing a problem, and that problem is with an uncooperative branch office. Manager is handling different offices, branch offices, and in one of the branch offices, he is having a problem of uncooperative staff. So how to find out the solution of the problem, how to find the causes of the problem, we will make a cocoon diagram. Cocoon diagram is nothing but cause and consequences diagram. Figure 1, cocoon analysis example. The tip 1 is there. Some people prefer to write the problem on the bottom of the piece of paper and develop ideas in the space at the top. Use whichever approach you feel most comfortable with, and that approach should be used for making the cocoon diagram. Let us assume that we want the diagram and we want to write the problem, definition of the problem at the bottom middle. And in the center of the paper at the bottom, I have made a block and the written problem is there. And I have written uncooperative branch office. A manager is having one of the offices which are uncooperative in nature. So, I have written this problem and the solution of this problem is to be sought. A vertical line is drawn which shows the stem of the tree. Let this shows the tree and stem. Now, tip 2. It is important to define your problem correctly. At this stage, again I am emphasizing the problem should be stated or defined in a proper language and in a proper way. And it should be understood the analyst and it should be understood to others also. We have already discussed and studied CATWO tool, and this tool will help you to do further analysis. And this will also allow you to see the problem in the complete perspective. As we discussed yesterday, this problem and the tool is CATWO, customers, actors in the process, the transformation process, and the overall world view, the process owner, and the environmental constraints we have to discuss, we have to trace them. And then this will help us in making the tree further. By considering all of these, you can develop a comprehensive understanding of the problem. Step 2, work out the major factors. Now, have a brainstorming done to find out the different factors, all those possible factors which can give you the problem which you have stated, which you have written on a piece of paper on a cocoon diagram. Next, identify the factors that may be part of the problem. These may be systems, equipment, material, external forces, people involved with the problem, and so on. You can list all other factors also which you think are possible for creating the problem. And then try to draw out as many of these as possible. Brainstorm any other factors that may affect the situation. So, now you are ready with the stock of all the factors which are causing the problem. Then draw a line of the main stem of the diagram for each factor and label each line for that particular factor and for that particular cause or for that particular reason. We will see how it is done. See, in this particular example, where the manager is facing a problem of uncooperative branch office, we have enlisted 5 such factors which are responsible for causing the problem. And these are site, task, people, equipment, and the control. And these have been received by having a brainstorming session. So, what we will do? We will have branch lines from the main stem. And these are shown on the diagram. And these are, please hold the diagram and I am going to show you people is one of the factors for causing the problem. And then similarly control is also there which is causing the problem. Equipment is there which is again causing the problem, and task is there which is again causing the problem, and building is there which is also causing the problem. I am telling you these are the things which are causing the problem, and these are the factors which are causing the problem. Now, we have to see which one is applicable to our problem. All these causes are written on the branch lines of the tree which we have drawn, and maybe one of the cause is giving us the problem, maybe 2 of the causes are giving us the problem. We have to investigate further, and we will do it in my subsequent slide. Let us go to the next step. Step number 4, analyze your diagram. By this stage, you should have a diagram showing all of the possible causes of the problem and which you can think of. Whatever causes are there in your mind which can cause the problem, you have to write it on this cocoon diagram. Main stem is there, and from this main stem, small stems are taken out and the factors responsible for the problem are written. Again, we are continuing with the same step. Depending on the complexity and importance of the problem, you can now investigate the most likely causes further. This can again be done through brainstorming. This may involve setting up investigations, carrying out surveys, and so on. And these will be designed to test which of these possible causes is actually contributing to the problem. Say we have taken, say, 5 causes. Maybe only one of them is responsible for the cause, and we have to find out that particular cause which is giving us the problem. Example, the manager has now finished his cause and consequence analysis. If he hadn't looked at the problem this way, he might have dealt with it by assuming that people in the branch office were being difficult to handle. But when we concentrate on all the possible causes, we can pinpoint the exact cause of the problem. Instead, he thinks that the best approach is to arrange a meeting with the branch manager, and this would allow him to brief the manager fully on the new strategy and talk through any problem that he may experience. Now, just looking at the problem and finding a cause and finding a solution. With this method, he would have discussed with the problem with the branch office manager, but the problem lies somewhere else, and this will be known only through the proper analysis. And we are discussing the proper tool for analyzing the problem, and that tool is cocoon diagram. Again, there is a tip. A useful way to use cocoon analysis with a team is to write all of the possible causes of the problem down on the sticky notes, and which are there, keep them on the diagram and remove the others which are not there for the problem. Step number 3, identify possible causes. Now, for each of the factors, you consider in step 2, brainstorm again possible causes of the problem that may be related to the main factor. There were 5 factors, and the problems and the causes related to these factors should also be written along with the main factors. Show these possible causes as shorter lines coming off the sub stems. We have the main stem, then we have the sub stems, and from the sub stems, the reasons or the causes for the problem related to a particular factor are taken out. Where a cause is large or complex, then it may be best to break it down into sub causes. Show these as lines coming off each cause, and this is the main diagram. Please have a look on the diagram, and this diagram as earlier made, and from the earlier diagram we have taken the shoots off for the sub factors which are related to the main factor. Looking at these, our earlier, please show the diagram on the screen, and earlier we discussed these are the main factors. These are the main factors, and like control was the factor, main factor, and equipment was the main factor. And from these main factors, we have taken the branch lines. If we discuss the equipment, again sub factor is reasonably modern. Reasonably modern equipment may be the problem for this, may be the cause for the main problem, or email can be the problem. So, offshoot has been taken from the equipment, and this problem is regarding a call center providing service to the customers. These are sub causes related to the main factors, And similarly, did email updates get through? So, there is another sub cause. Main causes are there, sub causes are also there. And similarly, if we discuss the building part, okay, main factor as building, this is the main factor, and related with this is, say, spacious space is the main problem. So, this is the sub cause which has been written on the main factor stem with the off centered offshoot of this stem, and these sub causes and sub factors are written. So, this is the way we make the diagram, and then this diagram when we see on a piece of paper, we feel that everything possible has been entered into the diagram. Everything is shown on this piece of paper. One can analyze it properly without wasting time. Everything is visible on a small piece of paper only. Don't go to further pages or don't write the statements in pages form. On one piece of paper, A4 sheet, make this cocoon diagram, cause and consequence diagram. Causes are there, their consequences are there. Now, we are to pick the one which is causing the problem. That again will be done through brainstorming. Everyone will be looking at one piece of paper only, which gives all the factors, sub factors related with the problem. Now, we will erase this and then we will continue. Okay. Next is, we are continuing with the step 3, identify possible causes. For each of the factors he identified in step 2, the manager brainstorms possible causes, the problem, and add these to the diagram as shown in the figure. We have already seen the diagram, all the factors and the sub factors. Now, list after this, when we have seen the causes of the problem and we have identified one single cause or a sub factor which is giving us the problem, we are to remove that cause and we are to solve the problem. At this stage, we will have alternate solutions for solving the problem. Now, we know the cause of the problem. Now, we will list all the alternatives available to us for solving the problem. And then finally, we will evaluate all these alternatives. We will have a guideline with us what we want from the problem and from the solution. When these guidelines are with us, based on these guidelines, we will evaluate all the alternatives available with us. We will go to the next slide and see list and evaluate alternate solutions. What solutions already exist? We have to discuss. We have to see the history also. Yesterday we discussed the model or the problem solving cycle. In that cycle we discussed OIC all. The last step is lesson learned, and which is to be recorded somewhere in the history, and we will have to go back to the history of the problem solving, and we will see that a similar problem, whether it has been there or not, if it was there, what was the procedure used for solving that problem. We will go back to the history, we will see if anything is available, if something is available, we will see that also. We will see the procedure already used. Okay, we can make use of the same procedure this time also for solving the similar problem. So, this is the use of history, what we made yesterday. So, in this case, have other people in your organization try to solve these or similar problem in the past. If so, it should have been available in the history. What solutions already exist? Again, we have already discussed solutions already made are there in the history. We will make use of those systems, those procedures and solve the problem. List and evaluate alternate solutions. We are continuing with this topic. Your goal is to look at what has been done already and what has not worked and what has worked also. Our failures and successes are written in the history. We will see our experiences and solve the problem which is disturbing us at this stage and at this time. What are the constraints to the company, to the organization? We have to list them also, and these constraints may be internal, these constraints may be external. Internal may be time is short, maybe funds are not available in abundance. Government policies are there, government rules are there, we have to follow, we have to work within these limits. We have to see what sort of constraints are present and we have to solve the problem under those constraints. First, look at internal constraints and external constraints thoroughly, and we have to see that these constraints should not be bypassed. Are there any rules or procedures that you must follow? Again, these are part of the constraints. A new website would need align with your organization's brand guidelines. If a new website is being made, it should have along with the lines available for the brand guidelines. And what are to answer? Now we have to answer two questions. What requirements must a solution meet? Write down the requirements that the solution must meet in order to solve the problem, and this should be written somewhere, because we have to finally follow these guidelines, follow these principles to solve the problem. As part of this, also identify other factors, while not essential for solving the problem, successfully would add value to the final solution. Again, we have to see the factors which are responsible, and then we have to address those factors also, those problems also. For example, you might want quiet machinery, a silent machinery you want. Okay? You have a solution to the problem, but along with the guidelines, there is somewhere written that the machines should be silent in nature. Okay? Or a database that you can access from anywhere with an internet connection. Forming a database, having a database, there is a guideline available that database should be available all over the country, all over the world through internet. Again, there is a guideline. So, we have to follow these guidelines while implementing the solution of the problem. Second question which we are to answer is, how will we define the success? How we are going to prove that our problem is over? What is that particular thing which will make that our problem has been handled properly? So, we have to identify how you will define success once you have implemented the best solution from the alternative solutions. Which problem solvers should we use? Identify who specifically is best placed to help solve this problem. We have to see that also. Who is the person who is going to solve the problem? Once we have identified the cause, once we have identified the solution, now we have to identify the person who is going to handle, who is going to implement this solution, whether it is from inside or somebody from outside, or some vendor is there, contractor is there, or some consultant is there. What information and language should the problem statement include? The problem statement needs to be clear, specific, and understood by the people who should solve it. So, language should be proper, and it should be written in a proper way, so that it should not be vague, it should have a meaning attached to it, and the analyst and the person who is going to implement the solution understands it clearly and completely. Avoid industry jargons. Some people use jargons, and try to avoid the use of jargons, and the statement should be plain and simple in nature. Moreover, it should be short and crisp. What do problem solvers need to produce? What will you or your organization need from them, from the people who are going to implement the solution? Nothing but our success factor is there. What we call the success after solving the problem, that should be achieved by the problem solver or the person who is going to implement the solution. Okay, then we have to spell it out, whether we want a prototype initially and finally, on the whole the problem should be solved. Whether we are going to have the solution in the form of a written statement, or we may like to have a presentation made by the solver, okay, to solve the problem, or we may have that the problem should be handled totally at one go. So, we have to spell it out what exactly we want from the solution of the problem which the people are now giving us. What incentives do the solvers need? What sort of incentives will be given to the person who is going to implement the solution? After successful implementation of the solution, what he is going to get? If it is a person who is an insider, what sort of incentive will be given? Whether promotion will be given to him, whether some pay raise will be given to him, or a lump sum amount will be given to him. If somebody outsider is there, what sort of fee he is going to charge? We have to see that also, we have to list it down also. How will we evaluate the solution? Who will be responsible for analyzing proposals? There are so many alternatives we have listed. Who is going to analyze and what evaluation method will be used? We have to see that. Again, after doing all these, the problem solution will be implemented. There are so many other methods also available for solving the problem, based on the vertical thinking, based on the lateral thinking, based on the creative thinking. We will discuss some more tools in my further slides and further lecture. There is one tool available. This is called constructive controversy, improving solutions by arguing for and against your options. People should be there who will give you encouragement. People should be there who will give you discouragement. Yesterday we discussed regarding 6 thinking ads. People who think negative, they should be allowed to speak regarding the options available to us. We should listen to them, and then we should be trying our best so that the doubts which these people have made should be taken out or should be removed, so that our final solution should be free from any doubts, and everyone should agree to the proposal and think that this is going to be a great success and this is going to give a great benefit to the company. The constructive controversy cycle is there. Here this cycle has 5 steps, 5 phases. Okay? Here we have a negative approach as well as positive approach. First, we start with right hand side phase, state your case, state your problem, and then hear different conclusions from different people and feel uncertain, because different people will give you different options and different opinions. People will argue in favor and people will also argue against, and then become uncertain also, and this is good for the health of the company for which the problem is being solved. Search for better understanding. Once you are uncertain regarding the problem, then you have to understand it properly, because people have talked against it also. So, search for better understanding of the problem and from that draw a conclusion. Okay? Now, you have learned negative things, positive things, and now you are ready to have a proper statement of the problem, proper solution of the problem, and then from these 2 things draw a conclusion. And this method is called constructive controversy cycle. And this also gives one of the best solutions, because we have considered all the positive things and all the negative things of the problem. The rules of constructive controversy. We will discuss now rules of CC technique. CC technique is nothing but constructive controversy. First, demonstrate mutual respect at all times. People should have mutual trust and faith, okay? And they should respect each other's feelings and each other's views. Criticize ideas. You are supposed to criticize ideas, but you are not supposed to criticize people over there. Remember that they, as people, are not being criticized, just the ideas they are putting forward at that time are being discussed and criticized. And then focus on good decision making and not winning. Your attitude should not be there to win the argument. There should be only to get a good solution, good decision from the problem. and listen actively and patiently and ask for clarification when it is required. You have to show patience when things are being discussed. Don't be aggressive, okay? And then try to understand the other's point of view. Commit to understand and commit to understanding all sides of the issue which are being narrated by different people. Are willing to change positions when the evidence suggests it is necessary, and you can change the role and roles also if it is necessary to do that. The last point is use rational arguments, including inductive and deductive logic. Whatever is being induced or deduced, that should also be clearly visible from your behavior. And draw conclusions based on evidence and well-structured reasoning. Inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is the process by which we make a necessarily limited number of observations and seek to draw generalized conclusions from them. We have induced something, and this will give us, rather this will shorten our passage to success. Logical fallacies are also there. When we are taking a decision, something is happening and logically we conclude something else, okay, which is not possible. So, logical fallacies are common traps into which people fall. Sometimes fallacies are created deliberately to deceive, and other times they are present innocently because the person making the argument has not sufficiently thought through his or her logic. Something is happening and we conclude something else. Say, I will discuss something like mathematical fallacy. There is a statement, there is a question, and 16 by 64 is written, and we have to simplify this expression. We just cancel 6 by 6, answer is 1 by 4, which is the correct answer, but the procedure is wrong. So, this sort of fallacy, when entered into the management problem, gives you a wrong decision, gives you a wrong solution. We are to be away from such kind of fallacies, and so that our solution is correct, solution is effective. Now, we will discuss the other tool, one more tool, failure mode effects analysis, and short form of this is FMEA, and in the corporate sector this tool is known as FMEA. Failure modes and effects analysis is a useful tool for uncovering possible points of failure that may be lurking within business processes and solutions, whether these are already in place or there is a problem and a solution is sought. This is also used in designing a spare part, designing an equipment which is new in nature, and this is also used where the equipment exists and the problems are there. This technique is as applicable to business solutions and processes as it is to its original application. Product design, this is also used. Ultimately, proposals that have been scrutinized using FMEA are more likely to be successful if these are projects that you are responsible for, then your projects are going to be a great success, because you are using a very useful technique, FMEA. Another tool available for solving the problem is heuristic methods. The meaning of heuristic is using your own experience, using your own logic, and don't depend upon the qualification and the knowledge otherwise gained by you. It is purely based on the experience, and the results and the solutions are hit and trial based. So, this is called heuristic methods. The term heuristic methods can be used to describe any problem solving or creativity technique that involves creating a basic model as a starting point for further experimentation or refinement. Heuristic methods are trial and error approach based. In this method, based on our logical thinking, based on our experience, we implement a solution, and then finally we refine the solution if any gap is there or if any problem is seen. So, heuristic based on our own experience and based on our own logical thinking. And there is one more tool, means end analysis. Start to the end analysis is the gist of this tool. Means end analysis is a simple problem solving tool that you can use to solve well defined problems and to kickstart the planning stage of a new project. To use the tool, first we look at your initial state. What state we are at, means what sort of problem we are facing, that is our initial state. This is the state you want to be in once you have solved the problem. This is the final stage. We see ourselves in two states and then we find out the ways how to reach from one state to the other state. This is called means end analysis. Next, make a list of the obstacles that are standing in the way of your goal and create sub goals that will guide you in overcoming all of those obstacles. Finally, take action on your analysis, and this is called means end analysis, MEA. There is one more method, appreciative inquiry, solving problems while looking at what is going right. When faced with your next challenge or problem, take a step back. When we are looking at a problem from one point in space, we gather some information. If we take a step backward, we see the problem in a broader perspective. More things are visible, more problems are visible, more causes are visible, and as such, more solutions are also visible. And this is the technique which is called appreciative inquiry. This positive perspective brings about a whole new set of positive solutions you and your team may not have previously discovered. And this is possible only when we take a step backward and see the problem in a broader perspective. Use this process to get your organization looking at itself in unique and positive ways. The deliver phase of the cycle is not so much an end, but a place to start to re-evaluate and continue the process of appreciative inquiry to continuously improvement. This particular method is used for continuous improvement. Once you embrace the idea of positive change, you can apply the cycle over and over again and again. I have discussed it is for continuous improvement. Rather, we can say that it is for continual improvement. There is a difference between continuous improvement and continual improvement. Continuous is keep on improving continuously. In continual, we improve, we stabilize, then we start improving, then we stabilize. And continual improvement is more effective than the continuous improvement. There is one more method, one more tool for solving the problem, and this is called the Simplex process. It is very simple to understand, simple to implement, and the results are enormous. And this is a robust creative problem solving process. This is based on the creative thinking. There are 8 steps the Simplex process has. First is problem finding, and then fact finding regarding that particular problem, and the problem definition. After first 2 steps, we are ready to define or we are ready to state the problem. And then 4th step is idea finding. 5th is selection of the idea out of these ideas which are found in the step number 4. 6th step, planning, organizing is done based on the selected idea of implementation. And then when planning is over, sell your idea to others, maybe to the top management, and get the approval from the top management for implementing the solution. And then finally take action and implement the solution. This is a very simple process, and this is called Simplex process. Simplex method, and this method is very common in industry for solving problems. Simplex is a powerful approach to creative problem solving. It is suitable for projects and organizations of almost any nature of any scale. The process follows an 8-stage cycle, which we have already discussed, and these 8 steps again I am going to repeat: problem finding, fact finding, problem definition, idea finding, selection and evaluation, planning, selling of the ideas, and finally implementing the solution, which is called action. And again these are part of the Simplex process. By moving through these stages, one ensures that you solve the most significant problems with the best solution possible to you. As such, this process can help you to be intensively creative, and the creativity techniques are used in solving problems using Simplex process. There is one more method, the straw man concept. We make a man made of straw in solving the problem. The meaning is, problem is there, immediately have some solution to solve the problem. Make it in the form of a man of straw. Physically you are not going to make it man of straw, but a skeleton solution to the problem, so that immediate problem is solved. Then keep on modifying this basic solution and finally end up with the best solution. Make a man of straw, destroy it, further improve it, destroy it, and further improve it. And this technique is called the straw man concept. Build it up, knock it down, and create a solid final solution is the main aim of this particular tool. The point of building the straw man is to knock it down and rebuild something much better. How you do that will depend on circumstances and on the resources available to you. It is a good place to start, and it is often the push you need to get past decision making paralysis, which plagues many projects, problems, and decisions. By putting together a straw man, you take action and gain momentum to get moving towards a winning solution. Basic aim of this method is to encourage you at all the times, because the problem is there, immediate solution you have implemented, you will be happy, you will be encouraged to do something better. Make changes in the existing solution and then keep on changing until you get the final solution, which is best suited to your requirement. The next time you are faced with solving a problem or making a decision, consider building a straw man first. Don't be afraid to throw your ideas out there, and which will be finally modified and implemented. And be prepared, however, to use well developed problem solving and decision making skills and techniques to fine tune your man made of straw into a strong and resilient creature capable of withstanding the many pressures of the problem and the real life, and finally get success in solving the basic problem which you are facing. There is one more technique. Hurson's productive thinking model is there. Tim Hurson developed the productive thinking model and published it in his book in 2007. Think better. The model provides a structured approach for solving problems creatively. You can use it on your own and in a group. There are 6 steps under this model. First step is what is going on. You have to see what is a success to you. You have to write what is a question, generate answers for that question, force the solution, and then align resources to get the solution implemented. The advantage of the model is that it encourages you to use creative and critical thinking together. This means that you can take a well-rounded look at a problem and you can come up with better and better solutions all the time. One more tool is there which is commonly used, which is called 5 whys. 5 whys. Keep on asking why questions all the time till you get to the root cause of the problem. This tool is basically used to get to the root cause of the problem. Quickly getting to the root of a problem, this particular method is used. Example, in this example the problem is that your client Messrs XYZ is unhappy. Using the 5 whys, you go through the following steps to get to the cause of the problem. Ask why question. First question is, why is our client Messrs XYZ unhappy? Because the answer is because we didn't deliver our services when we said we would. Again, why were we unable to meet the agreed upon timeline or schedule for delivery? The answer is the job took much longer than we thought it would be. So, keep on asking why question all the time till you come to the root cause of the problem. Again, after this you ask a question, why did we underestimate the complexity of the job? Okay, answer is because we made a quick estimate of the time needed to complete it and didn't list the individual stages needed to complete the project. Again, there was a mistake done by us. Again, ask a question, why didn't we do this? Because we were running behind on other projects. We clearly need to review our time estimation and specification procedure. So, the root cause is now known to us. Finally, we have to clearly and correctly estimate the time. So, keep on asking why questions number of times, at least 5 times, so that you are able to get answer to your question, answer to the problem, which is what is the root cause of the problem. The 5 why strategy is an easy and often effective tool for uncovering the root of a problem because it's simple, you can adopt it quickly and apply it to the almost any problem. Bear in mind, however, that if it does not prompt an intuitive answer, you may need to apply other problem solving techniques or other techniques by which you can get the root cause of the problem. Drill down. Drill down is also similar problem, similar to 5 whys problem. It helps you to break a large and complex problem down into smaller components and smaller parts, so that you are able to handle small parts. Finally, the total problem is solved. And this is a diagram of the drill down. And then there is a concept fan using this tool, and this is used for widening the search for solutions. I will just demonstrate how this concept fan is used, how this is drawn and how this is made. Using the tool, to start a concept fan, draw a circle in the middle of a large piece of paper and write the problem that you are trying to solve within it. On a piece of paper, draw a circle and write the problem in it. Then think of possible solutions to the problem and write these on lines radiating out to the right of your circle. See the figure. In the middle, there is a circle and the problem is written in the middle. Problem is cut office costs. This is the problem. 3 lines are radiating out. First shows cancel daily office cleaning, buy office supplies in bulk and stop weekly office lunches. And these 3 points are going to reduce the office costs. Now, if your ideas are not good enough, you need to take a step back. If you take a step back, you will have the broader view of the problem and take a broader view of the problem. To do this, draw a circle to the left. Again, you draw a circle and draw an arrow from the first circle to this particular circle. And in the new circle, write a broader definition of the problem. In this new circle, link it with an arrow to show that it comes from the first circle. I have shown this. Cut all costs. First was cut office costs, cut all costs. Cancel daily office cleaning, which was radiating from the first circle. Buy office supplies in bulk, again radiating from the first circle. Step weekly office lunches, radiating from the first circle. Now, again we have to draw the lines which will be radiating from the second circle. So, this is shown: cut all costs, costs regarding materials, cost regarding workspace, cost regarding save energy. So, these are now written on the second circle, because we are looking at the problem in a broader perspective. Workspace, all customer service representatives to work from home, and introduce shift oblique rota system and desk share, and this will reduce the space requirements. Regarding materials, negotiate with suppliers to get the items at the lowest cost. Buy materials only when needed. It is through inventory control. And similarly, at the bottom another circle is drawn: save energy, install energy saving bulbs and install energy saving devices, and turn off computers at night, and these are going to reduce the cost. So, we are looking at the problem with a broader perspective. If this does not give you enough new ideas, you can take yet another step back and another and so on till your job is over. One more step has been taken backward. Now, we want to look the bottom line of the organization, which is the profit. On one side, we are saving energy, on one side we are cutting costs, and now we are working on increasing the profit. How can we increase? Again, the lines have been taken out from this circle. Increase sales price of products, that is going to give you more profit. Charge for after sales support also, that is going to give you money. And train staff to upsell, again this is going to give you benefits in the form of money. So, if you want something else to be taken into account, take a step again backward and then emerge or radiate lines from this particular point and particular circle. Now, we will discuss what is brainstorming. Again, this is also a very important tool. Brainstorming collect people who are related with the problem and with its solutions, and ask them a question: what are the causes of the problem, and then they will give you answers, and write it on a piece of paper or write them on a board, and then you can make affinity diagram. The points related to one particular factor should be written at one point at one place, and the points related with some other factor should be written somewhere else. Here, this way we will have the blocks of the factors which are responsible for the problem, and this is called brainstorming. And there is one more term which is brain writing. In brainstorming, people feel shy in speaking out the ideas. If we have called say 10 people and in the discussion only maybe 4 or 5 are participating, others are sitting silent. So, brain writing is an answer to it. Okay? Tell them to write, and then see what they have written and then analyze those things and solve the problem. Crawford slip writing system is there. On a piece of paper, everyone sitting in the brainstorming section, okay, is asked to write his or her ideas, because everyone is not able to contribute, everyone is not able to speak. People are extrovert, people are introvert also. If such is the case, Crawford slip writing method come to our rescue, and this method is very useful. On a piece of paper, on a slip, people will write what they want to say, and all these slips are collected and finally analyzed, finally compiled to get an idea of the cause of the problem, get an idea regarding the solution of the problem, or get an idea for which we have brainstorming the people. And this is very simple and useful technique for getting to the answer to the problem. The Crawford slip method is a simple yet effective type of brainstorming that gives the opinions of all the team members equal weight, however quiet they are. Because I have already discussed in the brainstorming section, people who are senior, their voice is heard the most, okay? And the people are introvert, they are not able to speak. On a Crawford slip writing method, people write the views and then finally those are compiled and discussed. Problem solution methods, vertical thinking method is also available based on some principle, based on some theory. If we do this thing, something will happen and we will have to do something else. This is vertical thinking. And lateral thinking, there is another method, lateral thinking. And all these methods which we have discussed are based on lateral thinking only. 6 thinking heads is also based on lateral thinking. Lateral thinking, here qualification is not required, logical thinking is there. And we think out of the box solutions to the problem, out of the box causes and the reasons of the problem, and then we implement the solutions and finally get an answer to the solution of the problem. And lateral thinking techniques can be listed like this: alternatives, concept extraction, use concepts to breed new ideas, focus, sharpen or change your focus to improve your creative efforts, challenge, break free from the limits of accepted ways of operating, random entry, use unconnected input to open new lines of thinking. In this, I will explain it further. Random entry, what exactly is random entry? And provocation, we gave a provocating statement and people start thinking about this problem. Provocating statement is here: nobody sitting in this conference room can solve the problem. Everyone will get agitated and will try to give a solution to the problem. This sort of provocating statements will encourage people to give you the best solution. Harvesting is one of them in lateral thinking, and the treatment of ideas is another method. Creative thinking, we have already discussed creative methods of solving the problem, creative tools for solving the problem. Then finally implement the best solution, whether it has come from the vertical thinking, whether it has come from the critical thinking, whether it has come from the lateral thinking. And when you have evaluated, then implement the best solution. Make use of methods for evaluation of different alternatives and implement best suited to your requirement. Examine results then. What sort of results you have got? Whether there is any gap between the final results and the results you wanted to have. If there is a gap, it means your solution is not proper, it needs some changes. Make changes and get the results till you get what you want, and otherwise keep on improving, keep on improving. Then final stage is save and record the case. Record problem and problem solution for future use, so that in future if the similar problem occurs, you can go back to the history and see what was the problem, what have you done, what have you learned, what are the points of failure, what were the points of success, and the similar solution can be implemented. As I discussed earlier, random entry part of the lateral thinking. I will explain this method. Under this method, dictionary is opened at random. The first noun is selected and the solution of the problem is considered around that particular word only. I have an example. Example is, in a particular management institute, there was poor attendance of the students, and this problem was solved by random entry system. Dictionary was opened at random and the word butterfly was there, and our solution was centered towards this butterfly word. We saw that butterfly goes from one flower to the other flower, the flower which is beautiful, flower which has the best smell. Similarly, students go to the college if the environment is good, environment is attractive, faculty is good, faculty teaches them well, and the best thing what they want from the college is placement. If they get the best placement, the students will like to go to the college. When they get up early in the morning, they will start thinking that today this particular lecture is there, this particular teacher is there, and that they will like to go to the class, they will improve the attendance.
Okay.
I have explained different tools, different methods of problem solving. If these are of any use to you, I will feel amply awarded. Thank you so much. You can ask if any question is there.
So, well friends, I hope you like the lectures and you will implement the tools and the procedure what has been suggested to you for problem solving. So, with this word we conclude the lecture. I thank all of you for watching the lecture, and on your behalf I thank Dr. Subhash Kakkar for giving such an insightful lecture. Thank you very much.